Man, that music just gets me fired up and ready to go. Huge shout out Jeremy Harvey for that awesome countdown music. He's made all the theme songs for this channel. An absolute talented young man. Can't thank you enough, man. I don't know if you're tuned in today or not, but if you catch this later, never get tired of hearing that song, especially the this Asian one, the Asia Pacific tour. Totally nailed it. What is up, guys? Good to see y'all here. I'm V1. I hope you guys are ready for another fantastic live stream today. I'm actually more excited about today's stream than I think I was yesterday. Well, yeah, that was pretty hard. I'm as excited, maybe a little bit more, because we're going to do some fun stuff today, and I actually have a little surprise for you. It was a surprise for me when I did the test flight on this. Now, I didn't do a full-blown test flight, but if you are just tuning in and you're wondering what we're going to do, today is going to be more of... Let's get into some more of the systems of the 340 and some more of the operation of the 340, specifically in regards to fuel. And then because this airplane has failures, okay, so we do have random faults. You guys saw me work through one minor fault yesterday. There's a lot of stuff that has to take place when things go wrong. You either got to shut down an engine, or maybe you can't shut it down, or let's say you don't shut it down, but you have some type of energy or generator problem off that engine. So there's a lot of things that come into play, especially on a super long haul flight. So how we're going to set this flight up today is we're actually going to plan for an extremely heavy near max gross weight takeoff out of, what is this airport called? Kagoshima. And we're planning to go to Anchorage. We're obviously not going to fly all the way to Anchorage, Alaska. That's over 3,000 miles away. But we're going to set up for an intentional emergency diversion. And we're going to look at a fuel dumping, fuel jettison procedures. And then we're going to do a couple other things in there. So we're going to set up a fault. So it won't necessarily be random, but we're going to set up a fault to occur. And then we're going to work through the problem. I'm going to take my real world knowledge of, an emergency situation, what things go through my head, what do you have to go through when you're operating an airplane and you have some type of emergency and you got to do a diversion. So I hope you guys are excited. I'm super excited. We obviously have a new livery today. Probably wondering where I'm flying a Virgin Atlantic livery. It's the only one available right now for the beta testers. So I've put a little poll out there for the members. You guys voted for it. I could have done the Toliss default again, or we could rock the newest, latest, and greatest livery here. Oops, let me shut my phone off. Virgin Atlantic. So a couple shout out to everybody in the chat. Scott Rashley, what is up, man? Good to see you. Fubar, good to see you. Rusty C, Blue Bear, Robert S, Team Vodka, awesome, man. Good to see you here, dude. Sergey, always good to see you. Brian Rosner and Fubar. Is it Fubar? Yeah, it was Fubar, right? Yeah, so we have a new emoji, guys. I think it's totally fitting. We got a flyby emoji. So if you're all the members in chat, whenever we do a flyby, make sure you spam those flybys. Or maybe you're just getting tired of looking at the wing view and you want to see a flyby, spam that flyby emoji and I'll get that right out for you. Because this airplane does have a really good flyby sound. I must admit, the flyby sound on this airplane is pretty sweet. But man, look at that livery on this 340. I've been watching 340 YouTube videos now all for, I don't know, like 3 or 4 days in a row, watching all these guys flying the real world ones. It's such a neat airplane. So, all right, let's go ahead and hop into this airplane here. And we're going to start it up. If you guys are new, if you haven't seen any 340 footage yet, which I doubt, I'm not going to get too much into the differences again because we covered that yesterday, but we're going to go ahead and set up the aircraft here from cold and darks. We're going to come up here to our overhead battery 1. Let's check our battery 2, 25.6 or greater. That's good. And we can also check the APU battery. All three are good. So we got all 3 batteries checked. Let me adjust the volumes here. Go ahead and get that. And we have external power connected. We'll go A and B. As the aircraft begins to power up here, let's go ahead and brighten up our PFD and ND screens. Al W, what's up, man? Another beautiful day here in North Texas. I think the good weather is here to stay, man. I think the good weather is here to stay. But we'll go ahead and brighten up these screens. We'll turn on our radios. Gonna brighten up the FO side. Whoa, watch it. Whoa, easy now. So you guys were asking me to install the enhanced cloudscapes and all that stuff. I actually did. I installed it, and I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I'm probably going to make a lot of people unhappy, but I'm not I'm not sold on it. I don't really like the looks of the clouds. I think if I were to get the payware version, it would be a little bit better. I know there's some people in chat or in the Discord, like Max Rank. His sim always looks fantastic, but I don't know. They just look like mashed potatoes to me, and it almost looks like the kind of the Microsoft Flight Simulator take on clouds. I think if I had a more powerful GPU and I could tweak the settings, it would be a little bit better, but I'm running OpenGL, and I only have a 1070 graphics card, so I uninstalled the free EC mod, and I'm just rocking the Active Sky. So if you have a lower end graphics card, you know, maybe Jipwiz, what's up with that one? Yeah, go ahead and clear that. Maybe you might think twice about getting that, but here we go. Landing this and landing in real life 320, does it mess with you? Oh yeah, roll, definitely, man. You'll be smashing the 320 all day long after flying this, because this airplane, you really got to be careful in the flare. You really got to be careful in the flare. It'll start yelling pitch at you. Pitch, pitch. All right, ground control is on. That's good. Let's go ahead and continue our pre-flight flow here. That is on the captain position. Where is the CVR? This is just something that I'm curious about. So on the 320, we have our CVR, right? Here's the recorder ground control. I guess we don't have a CVR test push button here. Interesting. Go ahead, test the APU. 1, 2, and 3. Is it all the way up here? No? All right, that's interesting. Anybody know where the CVR test is? If there even is one in the 340. Did not notice that yesterday. All right, we'll go ahead and go nav light on, seatbelts off, no smoking, auto, arm the emergency exit lights, ground power is on. We don't have our fuel yet. We're going to leave that off. We'll go ahead and do our fire test, all 4 at once. Beautiful. In score, you said you totally agree on Cloudscape? Yeah, I mean, I know we're all trying to make our clouds look more realistic, but I think a lot of people may not really know what clouds look like, which is kind of weird to say because you just go outside and look at the clouds, but they're not overly enhanced. Like, to me, this looks pretty believable. You know, clouds are not overly bulbous and I don't know, thick. They're more wispy. I mean, I agree we need new clouds. I think the best clouds, if you guys want to look at good clouds in a sim, Digital Combat Simulator, to me, in my opinion, has the best rendition of clouds in a simulator. So I know some people love that enhanced cloudscapes, and, you know, I'm not saying I don't. I think if I had a more powerful GPU, maybe I could tweak it to make it look a little bit more to what I'm expecting when I see clouds. But as far as me running a 1070 on my rig, the free version at least is not worth the performance hit that I received. I got at least a 10 FPS hit off the top. So I just said, nah, I'm not even going to worry with that. And then I was descending into an overcast layer, and I probably more than that, probably 15 to 20 frame hit with the free EC mod. So that's why I'm not going to rock it. I got Active Sky and X-Vision going on right now, which I'm totally happy with. Fubar says it would be awesome if someone could create a Make X-Plane 11 look awesome guide in Discord. Just ask Max Rank. Max Rank probably has one of the best X-Plane systems or X-Plane setups that I've seen in the Discord. So, all right, we've got all that set up. Let's continue on with our flows here. We'll go ahead and turn that on. We already turned everything else on. We'll go ahead and get constraints on. Constraints on. We're over here in Asia, so we'll turn that to that mode. No need to push to test. Okay, we'll leave the oxygen panel open. All right, so let's go ahead and do some loading here. Initialization, let's pull up our charts. Now remember, we're not going to do this entire flight. We're obviously not going to go all the way to Anchorage, so don't freak out. RJFK to to PANC, and I'm going to show you guys how I would go about setting up the McDo when you have a diversion and all that good stuff. So if you want to know how to do some kind of the off-the-wall things, this is the way to do it, in my opinion. I think you guys are going to like this stream. We're going to be operating today as version VIR, what did I say, 357. VIR 357. I'm going to pull this out. We'll go plan mode. I'm going to go into the heads down mode right here so we can just knock this out. Al W, welcome to Private Pilot, sir. Glad to have you on aboard as a member. Awesome stuff, sir. Welcome aboard. Exclamation point, welcome for new information on your perks. And all the community, all the member stuff will be located under the community tab that you now have access to on the main YouTube page for my channel. So glad to have you on board, sir. All right, what we're going to do for loading, our fuel, we need a lot of fuel. 169 thou. We're going to take 440. We're going to go 169,000 pounds of gas. 169.8. That's a lot of cargo. Let's back some of that cargo out. Let's take about 1,000. Maybe like 3,000 there. Back some of that cargo out. Zero fuel weight 520. We're going to go ahead and apply and apply. So we're going full boat today. 440 shots of bourbon for everybody on board. Cost index, I believe we indexed it for 75 or something like that. Ran cool. What's up, sir? Glad to, oh, he says, be well. Oh, been AWOL for a bit. Can't read this afternoon. Been AWOL for a bit, but here's a little donation for Woodford Reserve. I'll resupply. Thanks for all you do. Ran cool. Huge shout out, man. Thank you so much for your support on the channel. Glad to have you back on stream. I hope you're going to enjoy this one, man. I think you really will. I appreciate the Woodford Reserve resupply. Going to need a Woodford Reserve resupply, especially since we just gave 440 shots out for everybody on board today. So thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it. IRS and NIT. We're going to go ahead and align on ref, confirm. The tropo today was, I think it was like 42 thou. Set. Ground 10 plus 13. Awesome. Remember, your PAX number here in the init A page has to do with your environmental control in the aircraft. So that's why we set it. Really nifty thing here, how Airbus set it out. So that's cool to see that. These are the little differences from the narrow body that I can see here. So for as far as departure goes, I'm not going to load the full flight plan because it's really long, but I'm just going to load some key points. We're going to depart. What does my wind say here for active sky briefing winds here in Kagoshima? 350 at night. So we're going to depart off of 34 on the Sogai 3 out to Seisk. Insert. Orlando Mitch. Orlando Mitch, what is up, sir? Thank you so much for becoming a member to the channel. Glad to have you on board, sir. I know you've been around a while. You probably know the deal with how to sync everything up, but exclamation point welcome if you need any more information. Really appreciate you joining the channel and becoming a supporter, man. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so we got Marco off Marco. I'm going to load the first airway here, the first couple airways, and then I'm just going to spot waypoint and load this. Yankee 453 to Sunful, S-U-N. Imagine doing this flight. I mean, this would be a long flight, man. This is Sunful. So now I'm just going to go through here. Let's just go, how about Alpha Whiskey Echo? Insert. And then from there, let's just say we went to SQA. That would be a long leg. Insert that. And then Anchorage, arrival. I have no idea. We're not even going to get close to there, but Amat 4, don't know about that, and SQA insert. So I'm just setting this up so you guys, this is going to be representative of something that you have in your flight plan, in your McDo, should you need, or should you go through this situation here. So we got that set. I don't need ENA. Let's go ahead and clear ENA out. And then clear that disco. I want to have a nice clean box. There we go. That's better. All right, that's set. Secondary. The CVR test is next to the engine 4 red fire button on the right. It's the CVR panel if I'm correct. I will check that out. Thank you, sir. All right, so like any good pilot, we're going to have our secondary set up here. I doubt we would come back to RJFK. But I want to set this up this way because I want you guys to just kind of watch me go through a diversion and have to deal with the whole box. So secondary perf, I'm not really going to mess with this, but just in case. 200, and, or that's not correct, that's MDA, it needs to be 200 here. And 040 on the win, 13 outside, 1013 on the meter. Love them. Love the key sounds on this McDo. The key sounds are pretty darn good. All right. And nit B, this is where it starts to get a little bit spicy. So we are 0 fuel weight of 520.3 and a CG of 26.3. Block fuel on board is 169.8. Takeoff weight 687,000 pounds. Look at that, only 15 minutes of extra gas, so probably could even use more gas if we needed it. But wow, takeoff weight 687,000 pounds. All right, cool deal. Prague RJFK, and as soon as I get this done, we'll be able to be more engaged with the chat here. Al W says, I promise to never say with you again as long as you never call me sir again. Al, I'm not going to make any promises, but I will try my best. How's that? It might just slip out. I'm going to try my best. All right, guys, we have to do a flaps 3 Toga out of here. 159. I did one test takeoff to make sure we could clear the end of the runway, and we can. And I was actually a little bit heavier in my test departure, so we're going to be okay on this one, I think. Flaps 3 are up 2.7. Remember, we have to set that, and no flex, engine out is 1840. Okay, I think we're set up there, guys. Go back to arc mode, zoom that back down, and we have our fuel on board, 169.8. Let's go ahead and make sure it is balanced. Look at all that. That is lovely, balanced fuel on board. Let's go ahead and start cleaning it up.
Subscriber ahead. Look.
Get the APU fired up. Man, there's so many fuel tank buttons here. Why are you beeping at me? What's beeping at me? Stop it. All right, let's go ahead and fire that up. Seatbelt sign can come on. We're going to fire up the APU now. Look at those engines. All right. All the heads down work for me should be done for right now. So, Freckles Aviation, Flaps 3 Toga. Oh, yeah. So, in the 340, you're always going to be Flaps 3, guys. You're always going to be Flaps 3 in, well, I shouldn't say always, but the standard procedure is going to be your Flaps 3 takeoff. So, to the right of the engine 4, I don't see it. Maybe it's just not loaded, or maybe it's just not... Oh, it's reading light. That's cool. And fade at ground power. I don't see anything for the CVR. Unless this might be it here. That's a boom set. I don't know. Either way, it's different than the narrow body for sure. Different than the narrow body for sure. Sounds like our APU is online. Jar Design 340 looks way better than this. I don't think so, Hassan. I can't say indefinitely, but I am not. I've not purchased the Jar 340, but I would speculate against that statement, but I can't say for sure because I don't have it. All right, APU is online. That looks good. External power. We are going to transfer over. APU bleed is on. Let's go ahead and pull the external power plugs. Important that you disconnect that before disconnecting ground outside to prevent arcing on the aircraft. Let's go ahead and set up a better pushback here.
Hey, Captain, let me know where you want this
All right,
thing.
so we're going to be going to 3-4. You know what? What if I just have them push me straight back? I'm just going to push me straight back. Let's do that.
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
All right, so he's coming. I also have another surprise. A340 checklist. Cockpit prep complete. Gear pins, covers removed. Signs on and auto. ADIRS. We are navin. Fuel. We need 164,000 pounds. We got 169.8 on board. Takeoff data is set. Barrow reference. Ooh, that's a good one. Current barrow here. 300, which translates to 1016, 1016, 1016, set. 1, 2, and 3. Our top altitude's going to be 290 for now, our initial. Right now, our max is 37.6. We don't have ATC, so let's just go ahead and plan optimum of 34. A little bit heavy. We're going to have to burn some gas, but that looks good. Back to our perf data. The Classic Traveler, I do not have a price for you, but they said it would be, what did they say? It would be less than $100, around there. All right, barrel ref set, windows, doors, and slides. They are closed and armed. Beacon on. Thrust levers idle. Parking brake is on for now. All right, guys, one thing about the thrust levers. So I've made the adjustments. If you have a Bravo throttle quadrant, you may want to screenshot this page, because for 4 engines...
Welcome aboard, Captain. Toes connected, bypass pins inserted. Go and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go.
Roger that, stand by. So, from my experience, this throttle quadrant is identical to the narrow-body Airbus. So what I've done is I've made my Bravo feel as close as I can to what I would expect in the real Airbus with the throttle quadrant as far as movement is concerned. Now remember, this is only going to work with the Bravo, but my climb detent, I moved it up to 0.65 and MCT detent of 0.83. So I've got a pretty good amount of play there to climb. A small window here to flex MCT, which is normal, and then it's basically just a click into the takeoff go around mode. So what you got to understand is between flex and MCT, as in the real airplane, there is no thrust selection available between the two. MCT is pretty much that, max continuous thrust, and it just clicks into Toga. You need to understand between flex, MCT, and the climb detent, there is thrust available. So as you pull your thrust levers out of the flex detent, you do have thrust available here, as you do on the real airplane, to manipulate should you be doing an auto thrust off approach or takeoff or whatever. And then of course you have climb, and then the majority of the throw is located between 0 and climb. So those are my settings. Screenshot that, write it down, whatever. If you have a Bravo throttle quadrant, that's what I find to be the most realistic. All right, we did our checklist. That is complete. Are you guys ready to get out of here? I'm ready to get out of here. Cockpit to ground, brakes release, clear to push.
Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
Jeremy Harvey, what's up, sir? Says the sounds actually aren't that bad. Jeremy, the flyby sounds in particular I find quite enjoyable, sir. And I don't know if you were here earlier, but I was complimenting you on your countdown song, man. That countdown song just gets me fired up every time I play it. I love it. Love it, Jeremy. That checklist is available on the Toliss Discord. I just pulled it out of the Toliss Discord. I believe it was documents, A340 documents, and then I downloaded it. It was a PNG file, converted to JPEG, and then put it up. And you know what? I might be able to just post it in mine as a JPEG. Let me go ahead and pull up Discord real quick here. I hope this doesn't crash X-Plane on me. I'll be pissed. Let me go here. I'm going to put it in X-Plane. I'm going to see if I can upload a checklist for you right here. Airbus terminal, add, upload a file. Let me just make sure that is the... It is. Okay, cool. All right, guys, so if you want the checklist, I have pinned it in the Discord under the Airbus terminal, so you don't have to do the conversion from PNG to JPEG. And it may look a little funky when you open it up in your browser, but it actually sizes pretty well here. You just drop it in your AviTab charts, and you'll have the actual checklist. So it's in the Discord, which is linked in the description.
Go ahead and set your parking brake.
Airbus terminal. Okay, thanks for the smooth push, sir. Brakes are set. We're going to go ahead and start 1 and 2.
And we're disconnecting the tow. Give me just a moment.
All right, here we go. Ignition start to ignition start. Verify our bleed pressures. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and start engine 2. And we're going to wait for 10% and 3, and then we're going to motor engine 1 at the same time because that is just sweet. There's 10. Boom. We're motoring engines 1 and 2. How badass is that? I love starting 2 engines at once. Will there be a whiskey class on this bird? McCann, of course, sir. Of course. Hi from Ireland V1. Looking forward to watching this one. Cedar Key, well, welcome aboard, sir. Glad you're looking forward to it. What I'm going to do, guys, is we'll set...
And we're disconnected. Signal and pin on the left. Take it easy and have a safe flight.
All right, sir. Thanks for the smooth push. We'll see you next time. What I'm going to do for fault, we'll add the new fault manually. Hopefully we don't get another one here. All right, 1 and 2 are coming online. And now we'll go ahead and just start them sequentially so we can enjoy the startup here. Jeremy, you were confused because I said the 350 would be my wide-body dream. It was until I paid more attention to this airplane, sir. I really, if I had to pick one wide-body Airbus, yeah, A340, I think I'd take this over the 350. 350 is super modern and nice, and I think it might even have a little bit more sleek, has some sleeker lines on the outside, but you can't deny the 4 engines. You can't deny 4 engines. Shaquille O'Neal, what's up, sir? All right, sounds like 3 is online. Engine 4, here we go. Beautiful flap textures, too. Max Rank says his settings are now posted in the Flight Sim General of Discord. All right, if you guys want to make your sim look amazing, and you got the CPU and GPU power to do it, Max Rank has posted his sim settings in the Discord under Flight Sim General. Yannick, what's up, sir? Looking forward to release on Monday? Yes, sir. You guys are going to absolutely love this airplane. I'm telling you. I know my following. You guys are either a little bit more Airbus fan than you are Boeing, but I know I still have a good following that is really diehard Boeing fans, but also are starting to enjoy the Airbus more. I'm telling you, this airplane is going to win your heart because it's a good mix of wide body, a little bit of some older tech, but it's still modern like an Airbus. I mean, it is an Airbus, but it's so fun. It really is fun, and it flies very unique to its size, which is pretty cool to see because I would imagine that's how it would fly in real life. All right, 1016. We'll go ahead and do an after start. That's going to go up. That's going to arm. Let's do flaps 3 from here. Okay, why did my buddy just text me and say there's an MD-87 crash in Houston? You guys know about this? Was it a cargo? Who's flying MD-87s? I don't know, my buddy just texted me and said MD-87 crashed in Houston. Huh. Or crash lands. I'll have to look up that later. Interesting. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3. Let's go up to the overhead. AP bleed off. Master switch off. We're going to leave the packs on for now. Get the cabin nice and cool. Let's verify our trim settings. It was, what was it? Flaps 3, Toga, 2.7 on the trim. So let's come over here. And did it indeed set 2.1? No, so we're going to go ahead and set it 2.7. And if you guys want, I'm setting it right here, 2.7 on the trim. There we go. 2.7 is set. I think it should auto set, or it should auto set close. Maybe that's I don't know. I got to look into that more. It auto set for me before, but anyway. All right, 2.7 is set. Let's do an after start checklist. Anti-ice is not required. ECAM status checked. Seatbelt, or I'm sorry, ECAM status pitch trim is 2.7% CG set. Rudder trim 0. After start checklist complete. Are you guys ready to get out of here? We're going to go that's off, taxi cam on, taxi light on. Now I think it's going to do a little wonky thing here. That's okay. That's just normal. I think Toliss is working with Laminar to figure that one out. Once it stops, I'll be able to... There we go. Now I've got control. We're going to go to 3-4. Watch your ears. That's awesome. That is just awesome. Okay, we got our taxi cam on. We're going to join the taxiway here. I'm on VATSIM. I probably should be on 22.8 as well. Oh, we are 22.8. Kagoshima traffic, version 357 heavy, taxi M34, Kagoshima. Let's get ourselves back on the center line. Look at that. You got your ground speed. Okay, so I was told as well, when you're making a 90-degree turn, these pink dots are your reference. So if you put the pink dot on the center line, you should be able to make a spot-on 90-degree turn, which we're going to need when we take this runway, because we need absolute full length for departure. So we're going to go all the way to the end. We're going to hold short. We're going to do our before takeoff checklist. We're going to make sure the aircraft is properly configured. That way, once we take the runway, all we have to do is take off, maximum yoga. We'll get all the yogas in chat, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. Flyby, or should I say drive-by. Pretty sweet. All right, all the way down here. That's pretty cool. The wings almost look like they are folding down because they're so heavy. And we're not even, we are heavy, but we are not that heavy, which still blows my mind for this airplane. Alright, so I'm going to try this pink dot technique here. Oversteer. Let's go ahead and set the brakes. Taxi light off. Let's see how we did. I was a little off on that, but that's not bad. Well, a little bit left, but hey, this is one of those airplanes where you definitely need to be checking your taxiway clearances, and there's going to be certain taxiways you can or cannot take off on either. So, all right, here we go. Let's do flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder. It's technically full left. Those are my rudder pedals. Full right. And neutral, and if you want to see it from the wing view, it's pretty sweet. Auto brake takeoff, takeoff config check. PWS is in auto. Transponder on, TARA. We're gonna go PAX off. Kagoshima traffic, Virgin 357 Heavy, you're going to be departing 3-4 to the north. Alright, let's light it up and get out of here. We'll do our checklist. Before I get all the lights. For takeoff, flight controls checked, flight instruments checked, briefings complete, flap setting, config 3, V1, VR, V2 flex. We got 159, 159, 169, Toga set. ATC is set. ECAM memo, takeoff and no blue. Takeoff runway. We got 3-4 confirmed. Cabin crew advised. TCAS, TARA, engine start selector as required. Packs are off before takeoff checklist complete. Go ahead and turn all the lights on. Brakes release. I'm going to use that to kind of... I don't know. I'm sure there's some procedures depending on which airline you work for. Maybe you can't have the taxi cam on when you take the runway. $369 watching. Let's see if we can get it to 340 likes. That's going to take almost everybody to like this video. Let's see how many likes can we get before takeoff with a target of 340, but probably not going to happen if we only have 369 watching, but maybe for the whole stream. Let's see how many likes we can get before takeoff. I'm going to show you guys why you need to like this video as soon as we roll out of the turn. Using that oversteer. Now I think I might be too far to the right. Oh, that was still too short. That's unbelievable. All right, we'll go ahead and stop. Taxi camera off. Almost nailed it. Almost nailed it. All right, you guys ready for a static takeoff? Here we go. Man, that is a beautiful bird. Max Yoga's in chat, ladies and gentlemen. Nose forward on the stick. Enjoy the takeoff. Static 50% stable. Stable. Yoga. Alright, we do need to pay attention on this takeoff. Man, Toga, SRS runway, auto thrust is blue. Thrust set. 100 knots. The runway is starting to look very small.
V1.
Rotate. Positive rate. You're up, flyby, watch your ears. Come on, that is amazing. I want to watch this. So I'm going to go autopilot 1 right out of the gate because I want to look at this.
Subscriber ahead.
Look at those views, ladies and gentlemen. Flyby. All right, we got to go up. Flaps 2. Pack 1. Thrust climb, climb, auto thrust. Flaps 1. And we'll go pack 2, online. Disarm the spoilers, this, that. Another flyby shot. Actually, no, here's our, we're waiting for S speed. Important on a heavyweight like this, you don't pop this slat in here until you hit S speed. And we're going to get S speed right about now. Flaps 0 after takeoff checklist. Get a like button for that departure, ladies and gentlemen. Another flyby. Gosh, that's awesome. All right, after takeoff, climb checklist. Landing gear is up. Flaps retracted. Packs are on. Barrel ref. We're still set 1016 until reaching 14,000 in the transition. How are we looking on fuel, packs, condition? So I'd come over here, condition, make sure our packs are indeed doing what they're supposed to be doing. Since we had them off, they look good. What a stunning departure, huh? Look at that shot, come on.
Subscriber.
More flybys, more flybys. This airplane is just, I wish I was a 340 driver. I never really had envy of flying other airplanes until I started flying this on X-Plane. I need to find an American operator that flies 340s, which is going to be impossible because no one does, but what an airplane. Is Swiss Air still flying 340s? Are they hiring? I watched a YouTube video, Swiss Air 340. That's kind of what I'm going to get the premise for this video. It's just getting started, guys. We are just getting started because we're going to have a lot of fun on this flight here. There's 10,000 feet. We'll go ahead and clean up some of the items here. Wing lights can come off. Scroll wheel support, beautiful. Nose light can come off. Runway turn off can come off. So we're rocking the nav. That should have been on. Nav is on. Strobe and beacon is on. At a 10,000, we are accelerating wonderfully. And version 357 heavy, proceed direct Marco. Direct Marco version 357 heavy. In the turn, flyby. This is just the stock. This is the stock sound, Classy Traveler. I'm not sure if there's any plans for BSS or not, but what you're listening to is what you're going to get on the beta. Now it could change, you know, from here to release. I don't know if it is or not, but these are the default sounds that come with the release candidate 1 anyway that the streamers are using. No modifications to the audio.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Thank you for the new subscribe, guys. Appreciate it. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn it down a little bit now. Turn the interior wind noise down as we accelerate. 320 knots in the climb out. Okay, so this is where it's going to start to get fun. Let's say, what type of failure are we going to get here? So I watched a YouTube video of the Swiss Air go through an engine 3 IDG disconnect and a high oil temperature, which was awesome. So the only way I can simulate something close to that is we're going to go engine. I'm looking at, what do we got? Indicating, fuel. Is it under, what's under electric? I thought maybe there was nope. Hope I didn't just jack it up. Let's go to engine. We're going to do engine 3 oil pressure. And we're going to do it at, how about time? So that's a minute. Let's just do, so I'm not 196 seconds, whatever that is. So hopefully it'll catch us by surprise. We're out of transition altitude, standard set, 1, 2, 3, STDs for you and me.
Subscriber ahead.
Another flyby.
Up.
Swiss is retiring the 340s? Man. Alright, so I have a little time here to chat with you guys. I'll just pay special attention in the chat box, but it's gonna get a lot of fun here. So yeah, I was watching it was a Swiss Air. They had a high oil temperature, and you could see the captain. It was all done in well, come on, Swedish? Yeah, wow. It wasn't even in English, but I could hear the crew, and it was just amazing to watch the cockpit resource management, the CRM between crew members. Long story short, they had a high IDG oil temp. They tried to reduce the electrical load on it. After the electrical load was reduced, it was still high. The FCOM calls for if it's over 155 or 150, I believe, for more than 15 minutes, that they actually need to shut the engine down. So they go through an engine shutdown procedure. The captain's doing a fantastic job. My favorite part of the whole video is he pulls up the handset and he just sits there and he's holding it in his lap because he's like, what announcement am I going to make? And if I had $1 for every time I had to do that, I'd have, you know, a couple $dozen by now. But I could just imagine what he's going through, because he's about ready to make a PA saying, hey, we just shut an engine down. We can't make it to Shanghai. We got to go back. Don't panic. You're going to see fuel coming out of the wings and all that stuff. But now, he was absolutely professional, but it just, from captain to captain, it was just cool to kind of see him. Like, I knew exactly what he was thinking of before he started making the PA announcement. It was pretty cool to watch that. I think it was just... Was it Just Planes or something like that? I'll have to find the video. No sound out on. Swedish? Swiss. Swedish. Were they an Austrian crew? Maybe they were an Austrian crew. I don't know what the crew was, but Swiss, not Swedish. There we go. See? You guys are... See? That captain used to fly an MD-11 too? Right on. Yeah, it was great. And what's cool about the 340 is, you know, you shut down an engine, it's not an emergency. You still have 3 good engines. There's a pan call, and they ended up returning back, but fantastic stuff. German, you know, what's funny is I thought Swiss German is the language. So yeah, I don't know what language they were speaking, but I honestly thought it sounded German, but I don't think it was. I don't know what they were speaking to each other. Now, he would speak English when he was talking over the radio to the PA, but I don't know what they were speaking amongst each other. Which of the Airbus is the hardest worker? Which is the hardest or hardest worker that you can tell me? What do you mean by that? Which of the Airbus is the hardest work? Okay, here we go. Okay, master warning. Acknowledge. Engine 3. Oil low pressure. Okay. Virgin 357 heavy. We need to stop the climb at flight level 230. Virgin 357, roger. You go ahead and level off at 230. All right. Thrust lever 3, confirm. Thrust lever 3, confirm. Idle. Engine 3 master off. Now this is... Here we go. We're starting down an engine. It's an ECAM. This is one that you're not going to wait on necessarily. So engine 3 master off. Confirm engine 3 master. Confirm. Engine 3 off. Master caution clear. Lever MCT, which is max continuous thrust. Speed's going to come back to probably green dot. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to change, because we're able to hold 340, and I can do that. I'm not even working about the ECAM right now. EO recommended max is 32.9. We're below that, so I'm going to select speed and maintain 234. If we were above our recommended max, we'd have to do a drift down procedure. Immediately going to go ahead and turn on terrain mode now as well, monitor my position. Let's continue with the ECAM. Engine 3, oil low pressure, clear engine 3, clear engine 3. We're on to the engine 3 shutdown procedure. Engine start selector, ignition. Engine start to ignition. Fuel imbalance monitor. We know we're going to get imbalance for sure. TCAS mode, TA only. They don't want you maneuvering on an RA. Engine 3 shutdown, clear engine 3 shutdown, clear. Okay, air abnormal bleed configuration. This is one I got to use the ECAM to cheat on. Cross bleed, open. So we got to come up to our pneumatic panel right here. Cross bleed, open. Notice each time I complete an ECAM step, it clears itself, which is just like the real aircraft. Airflow, auto, low. Airflow, auto, low. Forward cargo regulator, off. That's your cargo regulator to the off position. Clear air, clear air. All right. Should clear. Abnormal bleed, clear air, clear air. All right, so bleed. Let's look at the status here. We know we've got engine 3 is shut down, clear bleed. Status, All right, we're going to stop the status. We're going to take care of any other actions on the aircraft. Right now, we're up at cruise. We're fine. MCT. We'll be able to hold this altitude. So let's go ahead and read status. We don't have any checklists to accomplish. Approach procedure for landing, use flap 3. That's important to remember. So I'm going to immediately come up here, and I'm going to select... do I have to select flat mode? I'm going to select flat mode off. And you know what? I'm not going to do that yet. That might be bad technique. I'm going to wait. That's just remember, we got to land flaps 3. Landing distance procedure apply, which really sucks to do those manually. Fuel imbalance monitor. That's what we're going to get onto right now. Flap slow, Cat 3 single operations only. Status. Yellow hydraulic. Reverser 3, Cat 3 dual, engine 3 bleed, yellow engine 3 pump, Gen 3. Clear status, clear status. ECAM is complete. Now at this point, the pilot not flying would go to the COM or the company procedures and complete any other steps required. Now, with this being SimWorld, we're going to simulate that, hey, we're talking to our dispatch, and they're saying, yeah, Virgin 357 Heavy, we want you to divert to Romeo, Juliet, Bravo, Bravo. And the reason for that is we don't want you going back to Kagoshima because it's a single runway. Kansai is multiple runways, and you have a long runway on the west side, yes, of 13,000 feet. So we want you to divert to Kansai, commence the diversion. All right, so now we both know that we're going to be going to Kansai. We also have to look at our landing weight. Our gross weight, 678,000 pounds. That is way too much. We need to get that down below our max landing weight. I believe it's, what, 530? I'm going to have to look it up here momentarily. But what we need to do now is configure the fuel. We need to start fuel dumping. What's probably going to happen, version 357, I need you to fly heading 060. Will advise when you can begin your fuel dump. They're probably going to wait till we are out over the water. So here's our Virgin Atlantic, our stricken aircraft. Look how beautiful this is. And you guys want enhanced cloudscapes. I think this looks amazing. To me, this looks a little bit better than the default enhanced cloudscape. Look at that. There, look at that. No heat blur off engine 3. We are a stricken aircraft at this point. I'm also going to go ahead and start slowing down a little bit now. I don't need to be hustling 280 knots there. Let's make a PA. Well, folks on the flight deck, unfortunately, I've got bad news for you. You may have noticed or not, but we did shut down one of our engines out of precaution, the number 3 engine on the right-hand side of the aircraft. There's no reason to be alarmed. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to continue our flight to Anchorage this evening. Of course, safety is our number 1 priority here at Virgin Atlantic.
Look up.
You're going to notice some fuel vapors coming from the wings here momentarily. That is totally normal. We're going to be in a fuel dump procedure so we can get our weight. We are a little bit too heavy to land the aircraft right now, so we got to get our weight down. We're going to do some fuel dumping. I'll advise when we are about 5 minutes or so from touching down. We're going to be diverting to Kansai. We will have connecting flight information for you when we get it. Again, I apologize for this delay, but safety is our number 1 priority, like I mentioned before. Thank you for your patience. All right, Virgin 357, fuel dump approved. So jettison gross weight, I don't know if I have to set this or not, but I'm going to set, what is our gross weight, 530? We need to go, I'm going to fuel on board. I want to take it down to, like, what is it? Let me pull it up here. Max weight. I thought it was like 530. Max landing weight. So I'm going through, I should have this memorized if I was a good pilot, right? 420, 530, 23,000 pounds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go 530. 530. I'm going to pull open the fuel page. And I should have popped it out. There we go. Okay, here we go. Jettison. Arm. Jettison active. Confirm. Valves are open. A fuel jettison is in progress. Version 357 Heavy, we are dumping. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a little treat for you. Look at that. They actually modeled, I thought it was going to be not included yet, but this was a surprise. I did a fuel dump during testing, the early beta testing. I messaged Torsten and I was like, hey man, this is awesome, this works. There was a little bug with the pounds thing, and then I mentioned that it'd be really cool to have a particle effect for fuel dump, because I think fuel dumping on this airplane is going to be a big deal. I think you're going to see it more so in this airplane than any other, as on X-plane, solely because Toliss has this wonderful random fault. If you're like me and you love to fly with random faults, you may be setting up for your long haul and you get some issue where you have to go back, you're going to need to dump fuel. And I was surprised. He said he was going to work on a particle effect because it's been highly requested. I loaded this up today for a test, not expecting this, but the particle effect is already included. So there is your fuel dump. Freaking awesome. Flyby with a fuel dump. And if you've looked at any videos online of an A340 doing a fuel dump, this is almost exactly what it looks like right here. So this is darker because the shadow of the aircraft. But, I mean, how about that? How about that? If you haven't hit the like button, now I would imagine it's time to hit the like button, because that is awesome. You can see the engine 3 is windmilling here. So it's just it's not spinning as fast as 4, but it's just windmilling there in the slipstream. So excellent. Okay, fuel jettison is in progress. We got to figure out where we're going. Best way to do this, in my opinion, right now, I'm going to go here, L1, pick a waypoint. Dispatch wants us to land RJBB. New destination is set. Insert. Now I'm going to pull out the arrival. They want us to land on, with the current winds, 24 right, Zulu. And we're going to go no star, but we're going to approach via Maya. And this is from dispatch. They probably, if you have a good dispatcher, they're going to be on it. They're going to give you that information. You get an amendment. I got to get an amendment for landing because it's not on our flight plan. 24 right, Zulu. Pull up the chart. Here's what we're going to be doing. Okay, insert. And version 357, well, we're going to be company dispatch require us to divert to Kansai. We'd like to get a present position direct to Mike Alpha Yankee Alpha Hotel. Version 357, Roger, stand by. They'd probably ask you something along the lines at this point, version 357 heavy, are you in emergency? What I've gathered from this aircraft, a 3-engine operation with 1 engine shut down is not an emergency, so it would be more of a pan-pan status, which is urgent but not an emergency. It would be version 357 negative or pan-pan status. Then come back, okay, version 357, you're cleared present position direct to Maya. Be advised, may have to hold you for fuel dump procedure. Okay, that means you may have to stop dumping fuel or what. But right now our fuel dump is approved. We're going to head towards the Maya intersection. Our gross weight is to 665 now. It is coming down, and things are looking good. Did I not just pick 24 left? Let me verify. I did pick 24 left. I did, and I want to do 24 right. Good catch, guys. Good catch. See, I screwed that up. Good catch. Always want to have the longest available. 24 right, Zulu, no star, Maya, insert. Oh, we're already going direct to. That's why I select heading, insert, P-pause direct Maya, and then manage nav. Oh, we redirect it. Should be able to go manage nav here. Now, is there a hold? Computed hold. Insert. Holding at Maya. Now, why can't I just get us to go direct? Mike Alpha Yankee Alpha Hotel. There we go. Now we're navving. All right. We're set up. There is our hold. We're fuel dumping. Jettison in progress. Now we can relax. I say relax, but not much relaxing on a shutdown. But how cool is that, huh? All right, I know I've been away from the chat, but now I wanted to get back at it. So if you guys have questions, I'm sorry. Scrolling back in the chat here, I was just trying to get that going there. Would ATC give you a hold to dump fuel? Andre, yes, it's very, very likely you'd get a hold or a box pattern. Sometimes they don't want you flying directly in your own track, if that makes sense. So they could just give you vectors. But since we're out over the water right now, we are cleared to dump at this current position. Now, a couple other things to take note if you are doing a diversion. Obviously, runway length is a big deal. And airport services, do you have, is it an online, what we call an online airport, which means does your company operate aircraft in and out of that airport? That can be a huge deal, because if you don't, when you get on the ground, it can be a total cluster because no one knows who you are. They don't know what gate you park at. You got to get third-party stuff. So diverting to what we call an online station is a big deal. Now, of course, depending on the nature of the emergency or the situation, you may not care what's on the ground. You just want to get on the ground, and that would be totally okay. But can you dial the time back a little bit? Yeah, why not? Let's dial it back a little bit. We don't want to get totally dark yet, huh? All right, so we want to be landing at sunset. Flyby. Flyby with a fuel dump. How's that? Version 357 for your fuel dump. I need you to fly heading 050. Correction, 040. Roger, we'll fly 040 for version 357 heavy. So they want us pretty much to stay away from populated areas. We're kind of going over land right now, but there's really not much we can do. We're going to fly 357 for now, or 040. Looking at our fuel, we're got 130,000 pounds on board. Our gross weight is 650. All right, a couple other things we want to do is set up. What's the flow rate on a dump? Al, you know, I had this number in my head. I can't find it now. I read it in one of the Airbus manuals here, and I'm sorry, man, I can't figure it out. I don't know which one it was. Let me see if I can find it for you. I can't remember how many pounds per hour it's scheduled to dump, but I mean, it's dumping pretty quick. If you look at our countdown here, I mean, it's pumping it out pretty good. This is in pounds. I know there is a number. Maybe one of you guys will be able to find it online. You can also notice that our trim tank is empty, which is good. So the first time I did this, I had a significant fuel imbalance. And you can see we might end up getting a fuel imbalance right now because what's happening is we're burning fuel from 1, 2, and 4. And even though we're dumping from all 4, engine 3 is not running, so it's lagging behind. So this is how you know you have like actual quantitative modeling here with the fuel burn, because it's not just taking it all at the same time. This tank has more fuel in it still because this engine is not running. So if it gets to a point, we might actually have to transfer some fuel around here in just a moment. But right now we're looking good. Let's enjoy that shot with a fuel dump in the background. There's your fuel dump. Oh my goodness, the classy traveler. Wow. Huge positive rates in chat here. Wow, Classic Traveler, $100 bomb. That's very, very generous. Thank you so much, sir. He says, I haven't caught a live stream since New Year's. Hope you, Mrs. V1, and the V1ettes are in good health and spirits. Thanks for all you do for the community. Classy Traveler, wow. Thank you so much again for your donation. Yes, everybody is good. The V1ettes and Mrs. V1, we are all happy and healthy. Everybody has recovered from our previous illness, so thank you so much, man. I'm glad you're able to catch this stream. Glad to have you on board. And once again, thank you so much for a massive donation there, $100. I really appreciate it, sir. Very generous. Very, very generous. All right, so our jettison is still in progress. We're down to 641,000. And let's see if we can go start working our way back over there. Okay, about 060. Version 357 flies 060 on the heading. 060, version 357 heavy. Look at that particle effect. Birdo360, thank you so much, sir, for the $5 bomb, sir. I appreciate it. I remember the fuel dump over at LA. I think it was a 7.6. Was it a 7.6 or a triple? I can't remember. Yes, the fuel dump over LA. That was a botched fuel dump procedure. They ended up dumping fuel over an elementary school and actually had to take some kids to the hospital. But what was interesting about that is, I guess, the flight crew being saturated with their current tasks, their situational awareness had shrunk a little bit, right? So I always talk about, why are my engines coming back? That makes me nervous whenever I hear the engine spool way down. I guess just a wind shift, everything's okay. But I always talk about that, your situational awareness, right? An emergency situation, and the air traffic control asked the crew, do you need to dump fuel? They responded negative, but then they proceeded to dump fuel over a populated area. So obviously the crew being well trained, they knew better, but in the moment, they made an error at that point. Now, it made a great landing, they came back, everybody was safe and good, which is the main takeaway, is everybody was okay in the end. But again, these are very highly trained crews, very sharp pilots. You get put in a situation that comes up out of nowhere, we start talking about that tunnel vision, and we all think we're going to react a certain way in an emergency, but the truth is, you don't know for sure until you are actually placed in that situation. I talked a little bit about it on my podcast when I had that emergency in the Airbus a couple months ago, and how I could feel my tunnel vision come down. And I think that's the key. If you can acknowledge that you're starting to lose a broad picture of situational awareness, that is key, because then you can physically tell or literally tell yourself to kind of back yourself away from the situation, regain focus on everything that's happening around you, and continue on. So that was an interesting crew resource, or a crew human factors. That's the word I'm looking for. Human factors situation with that. I believe it's a Delta Crew 777. Yeah, dump fuel over LA. Do I know Big Earn? It's funny, Costi. I don't know him at all, but I stumbled upon, it was a recommendation in my YouTube video, and I watched one of his videos. I think he was going to recurrent training there at Southwest. I thought that was pretty cool. But no, I've never met the guy. Looks like a cool dude, great dude, but I have no ties with him at all. But he has a pretty neat YouTube channel. Luckily, no one was having a barbecue that day, Berto. Yeah. I think they were pretty low, too. I hope you didn't eat bread and water this month, because it didn't they dump all the way to final? I can't remember. I think there was something else that happened. All right, so here's our situation back in here. We know we are getting close to our diversion airport, but we are going to be too high. So we're going to expect holding, which is not a problem. So we're going to go ahead and clear that, and we'll also set up for our arrival as well, so we can stay ahead of the airplane. So right now we're paralleling our course. We'd probably be getting a heading from air traffic control. And you know what, just for sim purposes, since I'm single pilot, let's say he says version 357, fly heading 090 to rejoin your course to Maya. Fuel dumping is still authorized. So we're still authorized. We're going to rejoin our course off a 090 heading. We're at 280 knots, 23.6 on the altitude. Jettison is still in progress here. We got to get rid of a lot of gas. We're at 625,000 pounds. Probably going to be looking at an overweight landing, depending on our situation. Can we get down to, we need to lose another 100,000 pounds. Yeah, we got to, well, we'll be all right. We can get another 100,000 pounds. What are your thoughts on the upcoming Phoenix? I'm looking very excited. I'm very excited looking towards that one, Cypher. Now, I don't know if I don't know. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it, Cypher. I'll say that. Thank you for the subscribe there. Brightened it up just a tad for the last time, hopefully. All right, so we're going to expect to hold. Let's continue setting up for the rest of the approach here. So we know we have an nav intercept now. Let's go progress, perf data. We don't want to clear. This stands for engine out. We're not going to clear that. We're going to keep that going. Descent, engine out. We're still good on that. QNH down there. Let me refresh my active sky. Becky Davies, hello. I saw you comment there. So right now, RJBB is showing 330 at 16. And then there's some interesting stuff I read in the manual here, and we're going to put Toliss to the test about a 3-engine landing. 330 at 16, 1014, and no significant weather. 1014, and the temperature of 16. So our environmentals are set. Ripper, I agree with you. I think it will be. I think it's going to be a great airplane. I think it's going to bring me to Microsoft Flight Sim a little bit more, but my personal opinion is I'm still waiting for that sim to mature a little bit. I get the satisfaction and the fun, the enjoyment out of flying airplanes like this. I mean, look at it. We're freaking dumping fuel in a 340 heavy Airbus, setting up for an emergency landing, 3-engine landing. So this is where I get my enjoyment right now. I'm sure I'll fly the 320 a lot in Flight Sim, Microsoft Flight Sim, but X-Plane is still, in my opinion, not going anywhere, at least on my system. But everybody's different. Everybody's different. All right, so that's set up. We know we have to do a flaps 3 landing. Now, is there any configuration button here? We're going to go we're going to go landing 3. And we're going to go up top. We're going to do the flap mode button on. Now I want to read you guys something very interesting here from the 340 training manual. 1-engine inoperative landing. Auto land is available with 1 engine inoperative. Maximum use of the autopilot should be made to minimize crew workload. So with that being said, we are going to attempt to auto land this 340 with 3 engines. I don't know if it's ever been done. I probably should have tested it before the stream, but we're going to find out together what happens. If an auto land is not possible due to airport equipment limitations, fly a manual approach. A manual approach and landing with 1 engine inoperative is conventional. Use rudder to keep the side slip indication centered. The side slip indication center remains yellow as long as N1 on the remaining engines is below 80%. And there's some more blah, blah, blah about the beta target. You guys don't need to hear that. Here's an important tip. Avoid selecting the gear down and level flight, as high thrust settings will be required, increasing the handling workload. So keep that in mind. We got to be very careful when we put the gear down. After touchdown, use any remaining reversers. To make the landing run easier, it is recommended to reset rudder trim to 0 in the later stages of the approach, anticipated the increased rudder force required as the trim is removed. That would be for manually flown. We're going to try to auto land it. So circling 1 engine inoperative, go around. Let's hope we don't have to do any of that. But now you guys know we are going to be auto landing this aircraft. So in that case, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to put no. And you know what? Can we select a different chart here? Let's see if 2-4 right. They only have Cat 2. Interesting. 108.5 LS push buttons on. Is there a no auto land limitation on this? I don't think there is. I closed the wrong chart, dang it. ILS Zulu 2-4 right Cat 2. What? Oh, I guess that is. It just doesn't show it. This is what we're doing. Circle land not authorized. We're going to attempt to auto land it, because why not? So far, the DH, we're going to scratch this. Actually, we're going to leave the MDA at 2. Actually, here what we do. We'll do something like kind of what I would do in R. I don't know if the chart's not necessarily matching up. We're going to put a 50 here in the DH. So, you know, you could auto land off a Cat 1, but there's a lot of stipulations that go into it, such as like alert heights if you're fail operational, fail passive, and instead of boring everybody with that, I'm going to put a 50-foot alert height here. All that's going to tell me is we better see something at 50 feet or else we're going around. Other than that, we will auto land this aircraft with 3 engines. So we are 39 miles from the hold. Our gross weight is at 604,000 pounds. We got about another 30,000 pounds to dump. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and cease the dump now. I think we're going to be... We're 82,000 pounds. No, we're still got more to dump. We still got more to dump. We're looking good. We're going to maintain this altitude. Outside view, you got it. Don't forget to set config 3. Thank you, Carta. Another critical oversight on my part. That's why I got my first officers here. Config 3 set. Big deal. VAP 166, guys. 166 on the VAP. Let's go outside for a few moments. Our stricken Virgin Atlantic Airbus in the fuel dump. Cat 2 Autoland it is. Yes, sir. Nothing ventured, nothing learned. I like that, Steve B. I really like that. Tiago, what's up, man, from Portugal? Welcome. Chief Sim Pilot, good to see you, sir. Welcome. A go-around would be interesting, Anthony. It sure would. Thing is, it's probably going to start to get pretty dark down here, too. Robert S., flyby, you say? Love it. Listen to these flyby sounds. They're still pretty darn good. I love seeing that engine 3. It's got no heat blur on it, no particle effect. I like this view. I honestly like this view a little bit better. Let me see if I can get like a hack view here. I got to make sure we don't dump all our fuel, but oh yeah, that is sweet. I like that big wide wing. V1, could you talk more about the reverse thrust on the 340 versus 320? It is better not to have it on the same axis as the 320. Brandon M, it's different for me because I got the flat mode Ripper, thanks. I'm using the I'm using the Honeycomb, I'm using the Honeycomb Bravo for the 340. So my 320, I use the TCA Airbus stuff still. So that is on same axis. But if you're using the Bravo, I do not use reverse thrust on the same axis. I showed the Bravo settings. Again, they're in the beginning of the stream. I guess we got a minute. I'll show it real quick here. Take a screenshot of it. Take a picture of it with your phone. If you have a Bravo throttle quadrant, this is what I found. I've adjusted the climb detent and the MCT detent to be the most, to me, realistic feeling as far as throw and distance of travel for the Bravo thrust lever. So it's 0.65, 0.83. This is my settings there. So you can have that if you anticipation for your 340. All right, so I'm going to move a little bit of fuel here, guys. So let's look at this. I want to show you the problem that's occurring. And this is next level. This is next level modeling here. This is where Toliss did not just say, here's fuel and you're good. I'm going to explain everything, and I'm going to explain what I'm going to do here. We have 3 engines running. Each engine is burning its own fuel, correct? Correct. We are also jettisoning from all the tanks. Or we're jettisoning from the jettison valve, which is pooling from all the tanks, from the main wing tanks. You'll notice it's not pooling from the tip tanks. But what is happening is because the other engines are running, they are burning and their fuel values are going down faster than the engine 3, which is not running. So we need to set up a fuel transfer. Now, doing this is pretty wild in this airplane. Ignition start is on ignition start, so I got to remember how to do this. What we need to do is cross-feed fuel between 1, 2, and 3, so we start to balance this out. So cross-feed 1, 2, 3, or no, I believe it's 1 and 4. There we go, 1 and 4. No, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Main tank pumps off. Now, I don't even know if you're allowed to do fuel transfer while jettisoning, so I might be doing something completely out of procedure here. But I wanted to see if that would bring it down. What I'm trying to do is pull more fuel from this tank to minimize this fuel imbalance. XP72, what's going on, sir? Good to see you, bud. Our gross weight is getting down there. Fuel on board 66,000. I think we could land at 530, right? I think we could land at 530, which would still be another 50,000. Would only leave us. So we're gonna do an overweight landing, which is okay. It would be within limits of our like an emergency overweight landing procedure. But yeah, see, it's slowly catching up. We're slowly catching up here on the fuel. Because if you have asymmetric thrust, the last thing you want to do is have asymmetric thrust and a fuel imbalance. Looks like we've just entered the hold, and that makes me nervous. So at that point, I'm going to go ahead and stop the fuel transfer, close the cross feeds, and we're back to normal. So we've got it down. It's about 3,500 pounds out. All right, so we've entered the hold at Maya. Kansai approach, version 357 heavy. We've entered the hold over Maya, flight level 236 at, what is our Zulu time? Where's it at? 0835 Zulu. Version 357 heavy, roger. Advise when you are ready to accept approach into Kansai. Version 357 heavy, roger. Will advise. What is the target? I was aiming for 530, but looking at it, because of an emergency situation here. Now, I don't know exactly what it'd probably be something in the FCOM or in the company manual, but these airplanes can land overweight within a certain limit. So you have your published landing weights, but then you also could probably land overweight to a certain extent. And that's what we're trying to get to. And the reason I want to do that is because I don't necessarily want to come in on fumes. I don't want to dump all my fuel out, because to get to 530, I would still need to lose 4,000. No, actually, that would be all right. We can get below it. But what I was saying is still valid. So if you have a type of emergency where you would have to dump almost all your fuel out, and then you have to do an emergency landing, it may behoove you to have a little bit of extra gas and land a couple thousand pounds over to have it in case of a go-around, in case something doesn't go well. Now, in this situation, I did my mental math wrong. I think we're going to be totally okay. We still have 59,000 pounds on board, and we're already at 57 or 58,000 or 580,000 gross weight. So I think we're going to be okay. My initial mental math said we'd only be coming in with 10,000 pounds of gas on board. I didn't want to do that. So I made a mistake in my mental math, but the point is still valid. I mean, if you have a weird type of approach, you probably don't want to do it on the first try with fumes, because if you got to go around, oh, you know what?
Subscriber ahead.
Look at that.
Look up.
So we are going to be overweight unless we decide. So here we go, another thing cool. I know I'm jumping around here, but the fuel jettison will stop when you're below 8,800 pounds. We're below 8,800 pounds in the two outer tanks. That means we can no longer jettison fuel. Now, I'd be curious, can I transfer fuel from here to there? Let's see if we can do that manually. We're in the hold. So now, can I move fuel? Let's go crossfeed 3, open. Can I bring fuel from here to here? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Yes. Look at this. So now, I'm going to move fuel from this wing tank to this tank, because I want to minimize this fuel imbalance before we do the approach. Main standby gravity feed procedure, that's me. Clear the caution. We're already set up for the approach. We're just going to get our weights in check. And if this was a real world situation, you might sit up here and fly in a circle and burn gas, but we're going to come in a little bit overweight, because I don't want to sit here for an hour burning gas flying in a circle. 570 is the limit, so we're only 9,000 pounds, 259 metric tons. Thank you, Tom David. So 570, we're only 9,000 pounds above that. We're burning, what are we burning? Well, we're burning a lot. We might be able to do a couple turns in the hold here and get rid of that. But I was trying to pull fuel from this wing tank. we're going to keep doing that. At that point, since the jettison is complete, we'll go ahead and close that, And Kansai Virgin 357 Heavy, our fuel dump is complete. We're going to need a couple more turns in the hold here before we are ready to accept an approach. Version 357 Heavy, Kansai Raja. See, you get ATC and emergency procedures. Cam says, we need Bjorn pilot here for this. Thanks, Cam. Yeah, I'd love to have a 340, I'd love to have a real 340 pilot on stream. If anybody knows anybody that's a real 340 driver and they would be interested in just coming on to chat with me, I would love to do a stream where I can just talk to a 340 pilot live, ask him questions from the chat. There's so many questions I have on this airplane. And the documentation, at least for me trying to Google, I've had a hard time finding a lot of information that I want to find. I'm going to turn on the lights here so we'll brighten it up a little bit. So having someone who's intimately familiar with the airplane would be awesome to just talk about, because I'm in love with this bird. Would you consider more drag to accelerate the dump? Not the dump, Anderson, but if you were just flying, you might consider flying at a lower altitude to burn more fuel. That is also an option. But the dump is going to be based on the dump rating, how much fuel per hour is going to come out. It's not really going to matter how much drag you have. Your fuel burn will increase, but the dump will not increase. And let's see if we can accelerate that here. Let's see if we can descend in the hold here, see if we can burn more fuel. So right now we're holding about 6,800 pounds an hour. Version 357 Heavy, request flight level 140. Version 357 Heavy, roger, descend and maintain, flight level 140. All right, 140, we're going to go vertical speed. I don't want to do anything drastic. I don't want to do an open descent, which would bring the thrust lever straight to idle. I'm doing a nice shallow vertical speed descent. Vertical speed 800, 14,000 blue, check. This is actually becoming a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. Look at that sunset. Enhanced cloudscapes, what?
Subscriber ahead. Look.
Allegiant, you know a 340 engineer? Nice. Nemov Hanger says you can only transfer from outer to inner or center to inner. Okay, Nemov. So then this wouldn't work. So what I'm doing is I'm not transferring, I'm just burning. So what I'm doing is I'm not transferring fuel. I'm just burning fuel now from tank 3, because this is pretty much holding 8,600. This is still coming down. Can I burn 1 and 2 off of 3 as well if I open up crossfeed for 2? What if I do 2 and 1? I'm going to turn these back on. So now I want to burn. Oh, see, I don't know. I need an FCOM. So Nemov, if I want to pull fuel from this, what's the best way to pull fuel from this tank? I don't want to shut all the pumps off. This is the lowest tank. I'm going to shut this one off. You wouldn't be doing this in real life. This is me playing with the fuel system on the Toliss 340. I'm going to do something that you should never do, so just bear with me here. If I cut off all the pumps and we gravity feed, which you would never do this in real life, at least I don't think so. I'm going to intentionally gravity feed all three running engines to see if I can pull more gas from this right center wing tank. Flight Tim, I am reducing altitude. We're in a descent to 14,000 here. I'm going to increase speed. I don't want to go too fast because then my radius in the hold's going to get jacked up. So I think this is working. Look at our fuel values, guys. We are burning pretty hard from this tank. Now, I don't think you would do this procedure unless you actually had a fuel imbalance ECAM and it directed you to do this. You know, it's a little bit risky. You've got one engine shut down already, and now you're going to gravity feed everything else. I don't see a problem with it in theory, but don't take it as law, because this is me just playing around here on X-Plane, which is what I love doing. I love seeing this. This is how we transfer fuel in the Airbus, but you only have 2 engines, right? You only have, we don't have a fuel transfer. We have to burn from the other tank, and then what fuel is not burned is returned into that on-side wing tank as a fuel return. So you are pseudo-transferring, but you're really burning. Nemov says, I would switch on the 4 crossfeeds and switch off the pumps with the lower fuel. Perfect. That's exactly what we did. So this is how we move fuel in the narrow body as well. Like I said, you can't transfer fuel in the Airbus 320, but what you can do is burn from the other tank. When you burn fuel from the other tank, some of the unburnt fuel is now set to a return line to the on-side wing tank. So you get any leftover gas comes over to that on-side. So that's how we move fuel in the narrow body, and I'm using that same method right here to get this more in limits. Once we get it down to below 10,000 or so, we'll go ahead and start configuring for the approach. We're 57.7 now, so our weights are coming down. But it is working for real. So this is 449 people watching this, and I want every single one of you to understand this point. This is why I am in love with this aircraft from Toliss. You are not, just like their 319 and 321, there is so much more going on behind the panels, behind your cockpit, behind the beautiful textures that you may not even understand. And I'm not saying everything is modeled on this aircraft. It's not. Not everything is not modeled. But the key systems, fuel being a huge system, is modeled, and it is behaving exactly as I would expect to from my knowledge of flying a real Airbus aircraft. We did the fuel jettison procedure. It worked flawlessly. We hit 8,800 pounds. It shut off automatically as a safety. In order to jettison fuel, every single tank must be above, I think it's 8,800 pounds. So the fuel jettison shut off. We developed a fuel imbalance because this engine is not operating. Even though it was dumping fuel, it dumped its value lessened at a lower rate because the engine was not burning. So now we have an imbalance problem that I am sorting out as I would a real Airbus 320 series aircraft by isolating the pumps in the working engines, and I'm pooling all this fuel is being pooled from this tank, and it's coming down. And look, our values, have they gone up at all? They're pretty much holding just about stable. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what gets me excited. In my personal experience in flight sim, I get so much satisfaction when I have a situation like this and the airplane behaves like it's supposed to, and hopefully we have a successful landing to top it off. But this is what you can expect from your 340. And I mean, let's do an outside shot here. Flyby in the hold. She's holding perfectly. We've made our announcements. It's starting to get dark outside. Let's go ahead and kill the dome light. It's getting a little bright. We're going to do it nighttime. So for everybody that just joined the channel and is wondering why I'm flying in a circle here, if we look at our map, I mean, look at this. We've been in the hold. So we simulated an engine shutdown procedure. We had an oil problem before reaching our cruise altitude. So we went through the ECAM. We shut down engine number 3. We were going to go to Anchorage, Alaska, over 3,000 miles away. We have way too much fuel on board if we want to land, so we did a fuel jettison procedure. We reached the fuel jettison stop point, which was 8,800 pounds. So now we are manually burning gas to get us below our maximum landing weight of 57,000 pounds. And we're also taking care of a slight fuel imbalance that developed from engine 3 not being operative. So that's a recap of where we are so far. If you haven't already, hit the like button for that, because this is awesome. This might be one of the more fun streams I've done in a long time. I am loving this. I hope you guys are. I mean, when's the last time you joined a stream with 400 people watching the plane fly in a circle? Quasimodo says, can you transfer fuel from the center tank to the wing tank, or is it center tank from engines directly? Let me think about that. Center tank to the wing. I believe Nemov had the answer. He said, where was it in the chat? Nemov's the guy to ask. He said you can only transfer inside out. I can't remember. What you got to understand, Quasimodo, you got to be careful with your word selection, because fuel transfer is different than moving fuel or burning fuel from a different tank. I am not transferring fuel in this configuration. I am burning fuel specifically from one tank. Now, you can transfer fuel between tanks if you have enough. I think you have to have center tank. You can transfer from the center out, but you can't transfer from this wing tank to this wing tank. So the only way to get this fuel down is to burn it off. So I've opened up the cross feeds from the running engines to pull fuel from this tank. So there's a difference between fuel transfer and moving fuel. Center to wing, yes. So you can only transfer center to wing. We don't have any fuel in the center tank right now. Our gross weight is 57.6. Once we reach about 14,000 feet, we're going to set up for the approach. We are going to do an auto land. It is recommended from Airbus to do an auto land, if appropriate, with 3 engines running. So we are going to do a 3-engine auto land here in Kansai. How about a flyby in the turn? Let's go ahead. Let's look at our approach here. So it should be 4,000 when we get inbound. Let's go ahead and continue that. Well, we don't want to hold in icing conditions. Version 357 Kansai approach, request to level at 15,000. Version 357 Kansai approach, roger, level 15,000 approved. You're the only one on the stack. Altitude, your discretion. At that point, what I'm doing here, you do not want to hold in icing conditions. This is another consideration you have to take into account here if you're in this situation. We are in a potential icing situation with our outside air temperature. In this case, I'm actually going to go up to 16,000. And in real life, this is what my radio call would be like. Kansai approach, version 357. We're dealing with some icing conditions here, or potential icing. Request block altitude in the hold from 17,000 to 10,000. So I'm requesting a block from 17 to 10,000. Version 357 heavy Kansai, roger. Block altitude approve 17,000 to 10,000. So now I have a block altitude. I'm going to go ahead and vertical speed us up to 6,000 so we don't enter the cloud layer and we don't have to hold in icing conditions. This will burn a little bit of gas too. Let's go up to 300 knots. And we are holding just above the clouds now. Dougal McTavish, $25 bomb. Thank you, sir. He says, a bourbon time, my friend. Dougal, I'm going to be having bourbon after this flight for sure. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support, Dougal. This has been a while. I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are having fun. Sim Aviator, welcome to Private Pilot, sir. I enjoyed your stream with XP the other night, man. That was a lot of fun. You guys did it. That was a lot of fun watching you guys. That was very enjoyable for me. Thank you for becoming a member, sir. Welcome to Private Pilot! ! Welcome. You know all the stuff. You're high tech. You know everything to do with memberships. All the good shorts videos. If you're not, or if you're just joining as a member, I do shorts, YouTube shorts. They're 15-second clips of me flying or doing just when I go out on a trip in real life. They'll be located for you in the community tab. Those are for members only. So whenever I get called out or like go out on a trip for a couple days, I like to give you guys updates of where I am or where I'm flying, and that can all be found under the community tab on the shorts videos. So thank you for joining there, Sim. I appreciate it, man. Al Nico says, I'm really testing this plane's capability. Definitely. Jump and Run says, fun fact, even the Boeing encourages auto lands with an engine in op. Very interesting. All right, so see, I'm going to go back up to 17,000. Let's go vertical speed. Climbing back up. Climbing in the hold is okay. I want to burn as much gas as I can. It looks like I descended, I set it below cruise, so now the approach phase activated, which is, that would happen in real life too, so it's cool to see that. I'm trying to stay above this cloud layer here. Let's go ahead and increase the vertical speed. Should we back the time up a little bit, or you guys want to hang tight? How about one more turn in the hold here, and then we're going to start setting up inbound. What about speed brakes? That's not good. That's not good practice to extend the speed brakes and have the engines running. I mean, you could do it in a pinch, but we're not an emergency situation. Believe it or not, this is more of a pan urgent situation. We got 3 engines running. Everything's fine. We had a high engine oil temp runaway on us. We've isolated the problem with shutting the engine down, so there really is no emergency here. So in real life, you would sit here and burn fuel in the hold. I mean, if you are in real life going on a long haul flight, 15 hours plus, and you guys bang an engine or something after takeoff, you are going to be holding for a long time, because they are going to dump all that fuel, and then they're going to burn as much fuel as they can to get their landing weight down. So you got 100,000 plus pounds of gas on board. That can take quite a while. Put some bourbon on the retractable. What about, oh, you wanted to see that? Let's pull it out. Tray table, y'all. Let's go ahead and turn our light on so you can see. We got a tray table here. Another reason why Airbus is greater than Boeing. Close it up. Why don't you want to hold in icing conditions? It's per the FCOM, and in any aircraft, generally speaking, you do not want to hold in icing conditions if you can help it, because ice can develop even if you have anti-ice systems active. Are we getting some weather building up here? It seems like these clouds are building with me. Let's do an open climb to 18. That'll burn some gas off. Look how slow she climbs with 3 engines. Get above this. It's not the end of the world if you enter icing conditions in a hold. I mean, sometimes it happens. You have procedures for entering holding in icing conditions. Most common about the aircraft that I've flown is you want to be clean configuration. You don't want to extend any flaps. But it's not the end of the world. But if you can avoid it, in this situation we can, we're going to. Wonder what happens for engine 3 goes empty with the fuel pumps for the engine automatically re-engage. I don't think they would automatically re-engage because they are manually turned off. When you turn it off manually, that pump's not going to turn on unless you push that switch in. All right, we're 57.3, and we burned enough gas from that. Look, we're actually out of balance, but we're not going to worry about it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our pumps on first before you close the cross feeds. Our pumps are online. Now we can close the cross feeds, and we can start setting up for the approach. Kansai, version 357 heavy. We are ready to begin preparations for the approach. Version 357 heavy. Kansai, roger. Descend and maintain 4,000 feet. Reduce speed 250 knots. I was going to give myself a heading, but not. All right, descend and maintain descend and maintain 4,000. It's slowing to 250. All right. Fuel transfer is complete. Status, flap 3. We've got our flap 3 on the overhead. Landing procedure apply. Fuel and balance we've been working with.
Subscriber
Go ahead and clear status. Clear status. Engine 3 has less fuel now. Yeah, and that happens to me in real life all the time. I can't tell you how many times I've been transferring fuel and then I overshoot it. 400 pounds is nothing. We were about 5,000 pounds off. So 400 pounds, you're not even going to know. You're not even going to know. All right, that's good. Our engine out. We're still set up for that. Now we're a little bit high, so we're going to go ahead and do a little spoid brake action. Let's go ahead and turn on some lights as well so you can see. I'm going to turn on all the lights. You would use the lights according to your SOPs. I just wanted to see a little lights on the engine there. Oh, yeah. Time to make a PA. Now look, I even put my hand on my chin like I'm making a real PA. You guys got to watch that video of that Swiss crew. It was awesome. So, folks on the flight deck, as you can tell here, we've been holding just outside of Kansai. We do have our weight. Our fuel is all set up now. We have our weight below our maximum landing weight. We are going to set up for the approach. We do appreciate your patience this evening. We are, it's unfortunate that we had to divert, but again, safety is our #1 priority. Connecting gate information and travel arrangements will be made for you upon our arrival into Kansai. At this time, I'd like to ask the flight attendants to please prepare for landing. Alright, so now we're into the clouds. It's icing conditions. We don't want to get in the ice. We're going to skip engine 3 because it's not running. We're going to continue to descend in the hold. And we're at a 14,000. 1016, I believe it's 10. What's the meter? 1014 is set. 1014 set. Do we need this light anymore? No. Someone was asking me about screen glow. Background screen glow. There you go. Is your yellow electric hydraulic pump on? No, it is not. But it doesn't need to be because, or does it need to be? Let's play with it, shall we? Oh, it's running, right? Airbus would tell me if I need to turn it on, so I'm going to leave it off for right now. Alright, we're at 10.8. Probably by the time we complete this turn in the hold, we're going to set up for the inbound. Oh man, look at that shot. When do you usually put wing anti-ice on? You're supposed to put wing anti-ice on in anticipation of entering icing conditions, so you don't want to wait. Oh, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. You said wing anti-ice. Engine anti-ice you turn on in anticipation of entering a icing condition. So before you hit the clouds, you want to turn it on, warm up the inlets. That's what the manual says for Airbus. Now, as far as wing anti-ice, that is something that you would only do, and I'm speaking to the narrow-body Airbus here, if you were visually accruing ice on the ice detector in front of the cockpit or a representative surface. Maybe you see ice accumulating on your wiper blades, then you would go ahead and turn on your wing anti-ice. It is recommended that you disengage wing anti-ice upon reaching the final approach fix inbound on an ILS approach, or any approach for that matter, because if you have to go around, the performance hit, and I'm speaking to the narrow body, is significant enough to the fact where it may affect your climb performance, more specifically second segment climb performance in a go-around. Now, I don't know if the same is true for the A340, but I'm just flying it that way. Mike's Basement, no, I'm not on real time, sir. You guys want to back up the light just a little bit? Alright, back to sunset. Sunset is better. There we go. We'll do a sunset landing. Oh, that's beautiful. Alright, so we can actually see the airport, right? There it is. So that's where we're landing. Actually, we're landing over on this runway. Well, we're on a heading. So we'll probably start getting vectored. Version 357 heavy. Continue right turn, fly heading 270 vectors for the ILS 24 right Zulu. 270 on the heading, vectors for the ILS 27 right Zulu for version 357 heavy. Speed brake. Config 3 is already set. We are config 3. Continue right turn, heading 320. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and clean up the box here. What's the final approach fix? It's blonde. So I'm going to go direct Blonde, a radial in 238, which is 058. Insert, pull heading. If you guys want to see how I did that, I've got a video on my channel. But what we've done now is we've extended the center line for the ILS. So we've cleaned up our box, we got rid of the hold, and now we're on vectors, and we're going to expect vectors to blonde. Let's go ahead and start slowing back. Let's do 210 knots, and we'll extend flaps 1. Flaps 1. How do you know when you're in icing condition if you're in the clouds? You can see clouds at night. You can definitely see clouds. And you also have an ice light. You can turn on the ice light. That's what the wing light is for. Some people even call it an ice light. I believe it's wing inspection light on the Airbus. And then we turn on the light in the cockpit. So, in fact, this little guy right here will tell you if you got ice. Virgin 357 heady. Turn right. Heading 070. Vectors downwind. 070. Virgin 357 heavy. Look at that. We're almost 2,000 pounds. We'll be pretty much under max. There's a bridge, I believe. Astro Juice says yellow hydraulic pressure is still on because engine 3 is windmilling. I asked in Toliss Discord. Really? That's pretty wild. So, do we need to turn on the electric pump? I can't read it. There we go. Alright. Yellow electric pump is online. That is pretty cool. So, what he was telling us is that the reason we have yellow pressure is because the airplane is flying through the air and is obviously windmilling that engine out there, which is creating yellow pressure. But now, since we're going to be slowing up, we're going to go ahead and turn on the electric pump to pressurize the yellow system so we have all of our hydraulics. That was a bad vector. Come back to 0 to 20. We'll go ahead and slow to 180. That's right, we like these vectors because we gotta burn gas anyway. Let's go ahead and extend flaps 2. I have the sounds way down. That's a cool shot though, huh? Look at that. Alright, Nemov. I probably should have tested this before the stream, but flaps or a 3-engine auto land. We'll see how she handles. Status, clear status. And right about now. Virgin 357 heavy, turn right heading 150. 150, Virgin 357 heavy. 3-engine auto land. Our perf is 162 on the VAP. Config 3. We got a 50-foot alert height set. LS push buttons are on. Auto brake 3 is set. That's takeoff only. We don't have to worry about that. We don't need. We'll keep terrain mode up just for now. To heading 140. We got a 20-mile-an-hour crosswind here. I wonder if that's outside of the wind limitation. Oh, Nemov, what's the wind limitation for Autoland 3 engines? Right now we're showing 340 at 10. We're landing on 2.4, so it's a fraction of that. Let's say it was a 10-knot direct crosswind. I think we'd still be okay. One engine out auto land is mandatory thing we do at sim for any flight clearance. Interesting. Virgin 357 heavy, turn right, heading 180. Maintain 3,000 tel established, or correction, maintain 2,000 tel established. Cleared ILS 24 right approach. Cleared ILS 24 right approach. 4 tel established. All right, here we go. Flaps 3 coming in. A little bit of spoid brake because I got high. I forgot my altitude there. Let's do that again. Virgin 357 heavy, fly heading 185, 2 tel established, cleared ILS 24 right approach. 2 tel established, 185 on the heading, cleared ILS 24 right approach, Virgin 357 heavy. Spoid brake is stowed. Glide slope blue, loc blue. I'm going to wait till we actually intercept that. Glide slow. I think we're going to be okay because we don't want to do gear down when we're level. I'm going to try to finagle this with the vertical speed. Oh, no. Loc star. So I'm shallowing out the descent with vertical speed because ideally I didn't want to level off here. But my poor vectoring got me, but we're okay. Damn, we're right in that limit. So we're vertical speed, 300 glide slope blue. Localizer captured. Normal auto land crosswind 20 knots, roger. So we should be within limits. We're up to 14 right now. I think we're gonna level 200 feet. There it is. Glide slope star. Gear down. Landing checklist. Flyby. Okay, flyby is not in the landing checklist. Landing checklist. Cabin crew advised auto thrust speed. That's my checklist. That's not the checklist you guys want. Here we go. Cabin crew advised auto thrust speed. Auto brakes are 3. ECAM memo. Landing. No blue. Or I should say landing all green, or else I'm going to start getting messed up. Okay, here we go. We're going to auto land this sucker. 3 engines. Yep, there's the highway going over to Kansai. I'm not sure if that's... You can see it. It is an island. Below 2,500 feet, we're shadowing the controls. Nice. Weather reload on short final. Gotta love it. Trying to set this up so I can still have my centerline reference. 14 knot quartering tailwind. So you cannot auto land the Airbus 320 in this. I don't know, it'd be close. She's holding that slope pegged. Below 1,000 feet, stable, clear to land. I don't like how she's tracking just right of center line.
400.
Land green. That's a call on an auto land.
300.
200. Donation. Donation.
I'll get to it in a second,
100
pilot.
above.
100. 50.
Minimum.
Go around flaps.
40. 30. 20. 10. Retard.
5.
Positive, right? You're up. I didn't like that. It looked like we were right at center line.
337 heavy, accident hold, inbound for ILS runway 04.
Kansai, Virgin 357 heavy, we're on the go around. I did not want to have to do that. Engine out, acceleration altitude 420 feet. Push to level off. Vertical speed 0. Kansai version 357 request straight out. Version 357 straight out approved. Heading. Flaps 2. Version 357 heavy, climb and maintain 5,000. Climb and maintain 5,000, version 357. Thrust MCT open, climb heading. Version 357 heavy, fly heading 270. S speed, flap 0. Accelerating at 250 knots. Should have done, actually we should be at green dot. It's weird, you put me in a 4-engine Airbus, I totally lose my single engine go around procedure. Should have pulled for open at green dot there. Virgin 357 Kansai, say reason for go around? Yeah, I think we're outside of the crosswind limits for the auto land. We're gonna like to circle around for another approach. We're gonna hand fly it. Virgin 357 Kansai, roger, not a problem, sir. Turn right, fly heading 310, maintain 4,000. Expect visual for the ILS, or expect visual approach 24. We'll expect visual 24. Version 357 heavy. All right, so now I gotta resequence the box. I gotta go activate, confirm. We're still flaps config 3, 50-foot alert height. We'll keep that. Environmentals remain the same. Continue turning around. I thought she was gonna get on that center line there, but it looked a little bit too wide for my liking. I mean, we're doing it with a 14-knot quartering tailwind too, so I don't. Think that would be good. But where's my chart? Here it is. What did I say? 058. All right, we're ready to accept another approach. Continue right turn, heading 040. Descend and maintain 2,000. Vertical speed 700. Selected. Flaps 1. Almost did a Dynasty O'Hare. Yep.
Kansai International, United 1337 heavy, on final for ILS runway 04 right.
Uh-oh. He's landing 04 right. I didn't even know he was in the area. Look at our pattern over here. This has been a wild stream. Yeah, Aaron, you're exactly right. Folks on the flight deck.
United
No reason to be alarmed there on a go-around. There was
06 right.
happened to be a Phantom 320 on the runway, so we had to do a go-around. There's nothing wrong with the airplane, but Phantom 320 has since cleared the airport, and we're coming around for another approach. We'll be on the ground here in about 5 minutes. Thank you for your patience. These passengers are furious. Yeah, they're not happy. You got to scare them a little bit, though. So the good thing, you know what, Keith, what I've learned over my experience of flying in the airlines here, you know, if you got to cancel your destination, so you got to divert, yeah, passengers are going to be pissed. But if you get down and do a go-around and scare them a little bit, when they get off the airplane, they are much more thankful for keeping them safe. You know, like it's like, oh, okay, maybe something was wrong because you had to do a go around. But I'm not saying just do a go around every time you get to your alternate destination. But I have noticed that over the course of my career, if something inconvenient happens for the passengers, if you can find a way to scare them a little bit, that's awful. Never intentionally. You don't want to scare anybody, but it just happens to work out that way. All right, 060, we're on the downwind, flaps 2. Ooh, almost caught me on the speed there. I was looking at the wrong speed bug. Come back to 180. Almost oversped the flaps. That'd be a fun ride up for maintenance. It'd be like, oversped the flaps. We got an engine shutdown. What are you guys doing up here? At least you will burn even more fuel. Yeah, we are. Scare them so you can... exactly, Sim. Exactly. Well, we're below our weight. Definitely. We're 567 now. But see, this goes back to my original point of if you're dumping fuel, maybe you're in an airplane that doesn't have an automatic jettison shutoff. Donation. Oh, I got to get to these donos. But it might be a good idea to have a little bit of gas to do a go-round. You don't want to dump all the way down to 0, essentially. I got 2 donos I missed there. I apologize. Pilot 20, thank you so much for the $3 donation, sir. You hit me right there on the final approach. He says, Rolls-Royce Boeing 747 engine testbed was recently spotted with anything but a 747 under its wing. Aircraft carried Trent 1000, demonstrating that it could run the model on a blend of 100% sustainable aviation fuels. Wow. Pilot 20, that is awesome, man. Thanks for your support on the $3 donation. I appreciate that, sir. I've actually seen that 7.4. I've actually seen that 7.4.
Donation.
Imagine reviewing this flight tracker on FlightAware. Open bar cart time, yeah. Engine 1 idle, please. Was I supposed to idle an engine there? I don't know why I would have to idle engine 1. We'll try it again here. Maybe I needed to for asymmetric. Is that what you're getting at, Pilot 20? There might have been something I was supposed to do there for asymmetric thrust, but as far as an auto land, I think she would have been all right. I think our winds are what killing us. 14 knots, direct quartering tailwind, almost a direct crosswind. All right, here we go. We're setting up for the approach again. 180 on the speed. We're flaps 2. Once we get established on the localizer, I'm going to hand fly her in. The flight decker, what's my favorite thing about the 340 so far? Well, after this stream, I'd say the depth of the fuel system. No, I don't know, man. I could pick a dozen things. I'll tell you right now, I'm in love with this airplane through and through. Right about there, version 357, turn right, heading 190, maintain 2 till established, cleared ILS, 24 right approach. Cat 3 single up high 1+2, glide so blue, loc blue. Oh, that's a bad vector. 180. I'm going to go ahead and set 1600.
Donation.
Vertical speed 500. Aaron, thank you so much. 340 600 is so long that the arrival and departure time varies depending on where you're sitting in the cabin. Thanks for the stream and greetings from Wagga Wagga, Australia. Aaron, thank you so much for your $3 bomb, man. I appreciate that, sir. I appreciate that. Australia, that's a long way off, man. Glad to have you on board tonight. Can we change the weather? Get rid of the winds and still do an auto land? Let me see. I'm going to see how she lines up this time, Slam. And we'll go from there. Trying to vector myself right over blend. Or, excuse me, blonde. Out. Lokestar. What's our VAP again? 161.
Campsite traffic, United 1337 heavy, clear of runway 06 right.
Kansai traffic, version 357 heavy. We're turning final, ILS 24 right. We are a Pan aircraft, Kansai. 500 likes, hell yeah. Thank you for the likes, guys. I appreciate it. This has been one heck of a stream. Believe it or not, I'm not even tired yet. I'm just having too much fun. All right, there it is. Glide slope start, gear down. Landing checklist. Oh, flaps 3, landing checklist, flyby. Alright, I'm gonna, if I manage the speed, it goes below 161. That's interesting. VAP should be 161. I'm gonna set 161 manually. Maybe that had something to do with it. Status, we're aware, clear status. You know what, guys? That might have something to do with it. When I managed speed, it didn't go down to, it went way down below VAP. Alright, flaps 3, landing checks, cabin crew advised, auto thrust speed, ECAM memo. Oh, I'm sorry, auto brakes are 3. Landing checks complete. Alright. Yeah, still same wind. Autopilot disconnect.
Traffic to gate 20 via Takeoff 4. Kansai traffic.
Cat 1. You know what it is? It could be a scenery problem, guys. Because this is an add-on scenery. Maybe the loc course is off just a hair.
400.
Because see, now that I'm on the loc. Thank you for all the donuts, guys. Donut. Oh man, I'm gonna get to it right in a second. I bet you it's a scenery issue. I can almost guarantee you that's what it is.
100 above.
Landing.
100. 50. Minimum. 40. 30. 20. Retard. Retard. 10. 5.
Spoilers. Reverse screen. Get back on that center line. Man, that crosswind. Manual brakes. 70 knots. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally made it. Welcome. Whoo yeah. Donut. $40 bomb. What is up, sir? He says, hey V1, it's Donut. Donut, thank you for that $40 bomb, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your support. Welcome. Airstrip with a $2 bomb. When would we have 350 with image recognition stuff? Not for a very long time, man. All right. Kansai, or let's see, where are we at? Where are we at? What airport did we just land at? Oh well. Or clear the active. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to, well, that's gonna bother me. What freaking airport we land? Osaka? Kansai. Osaka is way easier to say. I should have just said Osaka. Welcome to Osaka. Clean it up.
Subscriber ahead.
Put the dome light back on here. No longer need that. No longer need the wing. That can come off. That can come off. We're going to watch those replays. So I can almost guarantee you guys that that is probably because of the scenery is off. Because even when I was on centerline, the loc course was showing off. So that happens when your scenery is off. So can almost guarantee you that's why. We are here. Welcome to Osaka. We're going to turn left Juliet 4 or so. I don't want to taxi too long, so let's go ahead and pick up the speed here. Because I want to see those replays. If we can swing it, we're going to replay the go-around. Thinking the plane was setting at full flap VAP instead of flap 3 Team Vodka, that is possible. That is what I would assume. I don't know the 340 enough to know if maybe in that situation you're supposed to select selected speed. That would be a question for Toliss as far as the VAP is concerned. Because yes, it was definitely going below the projected 161. It would wanted to go down. It looked like it was going for a full flap VAP, and we had, you guys saw it, it was confirmed flap 3 and everything on the McDo and the overhead. So I'm not quite sure what was up with that. We'll go ahead and turn that off, continue to clean up the airplane. We're just gonna high-speed taxi this sucker. Yeah, Sim, my bet is on scenery. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I can almost guarantee you that's what it was. Because it tracked that course right down perfectly. It just so happened the scenery was off. Is that a cargo ramp? I don't know. Since we're a divert aircraft, we don't have any operations here. They want us to park over here on this hard stand. We're going to go park over here by Emirates. That way we can get right to the replays. Astro Jew, I've shared my Bravo config. Real quick, joystick actions, take a screenshot, pause it. That's what the setup you want to have for the Bravo as far as climb detent is concerned. Alright, we can clear that. Taxi light can come off. We're going to go to the hard stand. This is actually pretty realistic, going to a hard stand if you're a divert aircraft as well. Oh, my freaking taxiing is way off here. He's telling me to go left. I know I have to go right, so I'm not going to listen to you. Brake set. AP is available. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here, Osaka, Japan. That was fun. Look at that flight pattern. Look at that, guys. That's awesome. There's another aircraft over there. Another A340 sitting over there. Who's in the other A340? There's an A340 out here with me? So there's another A340 on the map somewhere. It's got to be a dev or something, right? Oh, no, that's me. Wow. Wow. There's United. United. All right. Replay time. You guys going into replay mode. We're going into replay. Disconnected from VATSIM. And let's see where we are. Let's see if we can go to the go-around, shall we? That was in the turn. Oh, yes. A little bit more. Perfect. I'm going to let it sit for a minute. And go play. Turn that. Oh, I should have taken that taxi cam off before replay mode. All right, here we go. This was our go-around, guys. How did the fuel dumping go? It went flawlessly. Thank you, Blue Bear. Appreciate it. Thank you, Ran. Okay, I thought I missed it. No, we're good. My hand and paper is on fire from taking in all this info, Shaq. Awesome, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That was one hell of a stream. That was fun. I'm ready to do another one. That's how much fun I'm having with this airplane. Flyby. Oh, I closed the replay toggle thing. Hold on. I got to figure out my binding for replay because I don't want to start another replay. Toggle replay controls visibility. Let's add a keystroke of 0. Roll trim right. That's fine. Okay, done. Yes. Flyby. You want to see the replay from the engine view or from the tower view? What do you want to see? First one. Is there, if there was no other 340, then the simulators are like the real life. Sounds are good, but I would definitely hold off till we have camera shake. You mean like vibration? You probably can dial that up, Sim, with, what's it called? What do I have that I normally use? I can't remember. X-Pilot? No. X-Enviro? No. There's a plugin for that. I normally don't use it, but... What's the tower view look like? Oh, let's watch it from tower view first. Let's go, okay, fast forward. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go, here we go. Yeah. We're coming in and play. Alright, so this is what the tower saw on the go-around. Look, I commenced the go-around. Ooh, we didn't, I don't think we touched. That was freaking sweet. Go-around flaps, positive rate, gear up. That was sweet. Let's watch it from here. I want to hear this. Alright, let's watch it from outside. Dang, it's so loud. Yeah, it's definitely tracking. It looks like it's the scenery. That's something you see on YouTube. With auto lands or crosswind landings gone wrong. Tell me this isn't something you see on YouTube. I probably should have commenced to go around a little earlier. We didn't hit any lights, but we sure got close. We sure got close. Look at this. Look at that go around. All right, one more, and then we're going to get to the actual landing, and then we're going to start getting out of here. Where did we almost hit? It was like right here. Watch this view. Just kissed the pavement. We didn't hit any lights. But that's to be anticipated. We trained for that. And in the go around low altitude, you anticipate contacting the ground. Now, one thing before we get out of this view is I want to show you guys something here. I'm actually proud of myself that we did this correctly. But you have to be extremely careful in a go-around, especially in a long aircraft. Now, in a 321, you know, it's nothing like a 340-600, but tail strike is huge. In a go-around, if you are committed, saying I'm going around, you don't pitch to get away from the ground. You set your pitch attitude for takeoff, minding your tail strike limitation, and you hold it, and you anticipate a ground contact. So watch the flight direct here, watch the command bars, watch the pitch attitude of the aircraft. I said I'm going around.
40, 30,
Look, I started that go around at, what were we, like?
50,
When did we hit the go around?
50, minimum.
Go around flap. So I just heard myself click the power up. So we are at 30 feet. Watch the flight directors.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Pitch
restart.
and hold it. Don't pitch to get away from the ground. And that'll keep you from tail striking. So that was pretty wild. All right, let's go ahead and fast forward now. Let's go into the cockpit and let's fast forward to our last landing. Oh, perfect. Let's watch it from here. Now I had a little issue trying to decrab with the asymmetrical thrust. So it took way more than I needed to decrab. I'm even struggling there, but we eventually got her down on the center line, and then my rudder pedals, of course. So it's hard to see because that one's at night, but I had issues. I tried to do my decrab technique, but because of that asymmetrical thrust, it was even more so than I anticipated. That's why sometimes they recommend resetting the rudder trim to 0. I probably should have had that bound. Well, let's watch the deployment here. Nice little wing shake. Spoid brakes, reversers. That's too cool. All right, guys. This was one hell of a stream. I appreciate everyone that's even still here watching these replays. That's awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream because I had a blast doing this. I mean, this was so much fun. Huge shout out again to Toliss. We're going to revisit the auto lands. Don't you worry. We're going to get some auto lands in. Mods, thank you for hanging out with me here in the chat, keeping everybody in line. I appreciate that. Sponsors, new members, thank you so much for your support on the channel. You guys are awesome. New subscribers, everyone else just hanging out in chat, being part of the event. I appreciate you just as much. Hit the like button for me on the way out while you get out of here. I hope you learned something. I enjoy teaching as much as I can, even though I do not claim to be a 340 expert at all. Just trying to share what little knowledge I have on this aircraft with you and maybe bring you a more enjoyable experience when you get your hands on this puppy. Should be coming out as planned, I think was Monday the 25th, just around the corner. So until then, guys, until our next stream, I'm thinking maybe not tomorrow, perhaps Thursday. Be looking for another live event. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. See ya!